I have made it no secret throughout the course of my career, especially in recent years, how much contempt I hold for Stephen A. Smith. I believe that this man is largely responsible for the terrible and negative direction NBA media has gone in the last decade. His basketball opinions are bad and routinely grossly misinformed. Bro was literally playing solitaire in the middle of the NBA Finals during the game. He also crossed many a line with players, criticizing them for faking or not being tough enough to play through injuries from the comfort of his studio, saying, "You don't want to make an enemy of me," to Kevin Durant like he's some fucking crime boss, and criticizing LeBron as a father, then acting like that's not what he did. The man is scummy. At this point, very few people take him seriously, and rightfully so. However, even though talking about basketball is my career, it's hard for me to hate someone for their conduct when discussing a game. At the end of the day, it's just basketball, and I think it's very important to keep that in mind. But we're not going to be talking about basketball today, because Stephen A. crossed a line that makes me very comfortable saying that I hate this man and that he is a terrible, terrible person.
So much stuff that's going on that the left didn't want to happen, that you on the right said you wanted to happen, with the borders being closed, supposedly that being handled, with migrants being escorted out of this country in droves, according to you, and what you wanted. You're in an uproar off the Epstein list. That's all you've got. It's really, really surprising that this matters. Of course, I think there's a list, but I don't know. I suspect, but I have no knowledge, nor do I care. It's Friday night. I'm getting ready to go out and enjoy myself. I'm getting ready to have a nice weekend. I can give a damn about the Epstein client list. This has no effect on me whatsoever. I have a life. I don't understand for the life of me why this matters so much to these. I'm talking about people losing it. They're crying on camera. They're talking about resignations. They're pissed off about everything. I'm like, really? With all the stuff going on in this country, with all the power that you possess because of the cachet and the influence you have because of your connection to this administration, that's why you upset at Trump. I didn't blame Trump one bit for looking at them and saying, really? That really matters to you? That's really that important? Now, maybe he had a different reason for saying it, trying to be evasive or whatever. I don't know. But I do know this. In the grand scheme of things, it ain't going to affect the lives of over 200 to 300 million Americans. I think we'll be just fine without knowing whether or not there was really, really a client list. I think we'll be okay. It's unbelievable that this is a big deal to me. It really is.
Wow. Just wow. First, allow me to lay out some background information for those of you who are living under a rock. Jeffrey Epstein was detained on July 6, 2019 for the sex trafficking of minors. Along with his arrest was an insane amount of evidence being seized, which suggested that he was running a blackmail operation as well, including a huge collection of video evidence recording multiple different individuals. It was made clear to the public immediately that there were mountains and mountains of evidence, and that this would be one of the biggest and most significant cases in the history of the United States and really the world at large. The call for the information found to be released has been loud ever since Jeffrey killed himself in prison a little over a month after his arrest. If you could not tell by my tone and sarcastic finger quotes, nobody in their right mind ever believed that he killed himself. In fact, the very people who Donald Trump hired to be a part of his new administration also did not believe that that's how it went down. But now they're on the inside looking out, so they're backing down from this position. And luckily, there is ample proof of this because this dumb motherfucker hired a staff made up entirely of podcasters.
Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day. Jesus Christ.
I'm not participating in any of that conversation
What
between
is
Elon and
have a
Trump.
nice day, DJD. Someone should take his phone away.
They're going back and forth about different things. And
Yeah. Listen,
Well, he said he was disappointed in Elon.
yeah,
Yeah.
they told him to leave.
Jesus Christ, that's a crazy thing to say. How does he know? Does he know that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files? Or does he have access to the Epstein files?
I don't know how he would, but I'm just staying out of the Trump-Elon thing. That's way outside
What
my
the
lane.
fuck are they doing?
I know my lane, and that ain't it.
I just don't
I know my lane and that ain't it.
There has been much vitriol and party dick-riding rhetoric from a variety of sides, though one of them is currently in power, so the main deflection that I'm seeing is, oh, why are y'all mad that Trump isn't releasing the information when Joe Biden very well could have? I shouldn't have to say this, but anyone who cares about real shit and not just defending whoever is on their team is insulted by this misnomer. Biden should have released the documents. He also shouldn't have given Israel money and weapons hand over fist so that they could conduct a genocide in Gaza. He also shouldn't have ever been in fucking office because he had dementia. I am not interested in political party discussions here. I am no fan of Genocide Joe or any US president in my lifetime for that matter. The fact of the matter is, both sides have skeletons in their closet because these sides fraternize with each other. The whole show of them hating each other is exactly that. It is a show. They ultimately still have the same goals when it comes to upholding their positions of power and upholding the system of capital for their corporate benefactors. Protecting pedophiles is pretty uniparty in this country because these motherfuckers have never worked for the best interest of the people. If you are in a barrel full of snakes getting caught up on which snake you personally like and believe in, then you're just gonna get fucking bit and look dumb while it's happening. But don't worry, guys. Sure, a large percentage of people who govern us are pedophiles. Sure, the government is blatantly covering this up and protecting those pedophiles. But hey, at least Stephen A. Smith had a good weekend. Unlike you simpletons, Stephen A. has a life. He has things to do. I know you can't relate to this, you shut-in, you little fucking freak. Why would you care so much? Don't you have a job? Don't you have friends? Don't you have things to do? Why does it matter if children were raped? What does it matter if upwards of 1,000 minors were sex trafficked to some of the most powerful men on the planet? It's not even a big deal, right? Like this Epstein shit. It's like old news. What does it really matter? I mean, why would you ever care about and cry for hundreds to upwards of 1,000 children being taken from their homes and systematically raped? Who fucking cares? Oh my God, I just want to go to the club. I'm trying to get lit this weekend. This attitude is disgusting. It makes me sick to my fucking stomach. And that is a stomach that has been pretty fucking sick lately. Obviously, the actions that took place are heinous and inhuman, and it's hard to even comprehend the scale of the depravity that took place here, but the cover-up that has followed and this attitude that Stephen A. is sharing being so pervasive is devastating to me. It's one thing for government powers that be to do this. That comes with the territory. When I talked about this on my Little Rusty channel, I had a few people who were like, oh, just realized the government is lying to you? Were you born yesterday? No, motherfucker, I knew that. I have very happily made the point over the years that you should never trust the powers that be. It is far better to be overly critical to the establishment than it is to bend over backwards for them and commit to defending your team unconditionally, because it's actually not your fucking team. You have just been duped into propping them up. But usually, the government has the courtesy to at least do a proper cover-up. Like, yeah, if you really thought about it, shit didn't make sense, but there was enough plausible deniability. This shit is the worst cover-up probably ever. No one believes this shit at all. It's a blatant fucking lie, and they are quite literally laughing in our faces, as the other day Trump was talking to the media about Epstein, while Jeffrey's literal fucking neighbor stands right next to Trump laughing at the whole thing.
Mr. President, I know you've urged people to move on, but I'm curious, why do you think your supporters in particular have been so interested in the Epstein story and so upset about how it's been handled?
I don't understand it. Why they would be so interested. He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is. I really don't. And the credible information's been given. Don't forget, we went through years of the Mueller witch hunt and all of the different things. The Steele dossier, which was all fake. All that information was fake. But I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. and I don't understand why it keeps going. I think, well, really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say, let them have it.
Well, like I said, plenty of people just don't care. CNN did a poll of over 1,000 people, and about a quarter of them are more or less in the same boat as Stephen A. Smith. Who cares? I'm so tired of this never-ending content culture where there is so much shit to skim through, so many different things to look at to distract us, that we have lost the plot entirely. What is actually important is what is entertaining, is what is the newest, most interesting thing, not what, actually fucking matters. Believe it or not, this matters a lot. For everyone who dares to care about other people outside of yourself, this matters. Or anyone who cares to think critically about how it affects you, because it does affect you. I don't know if this is a controversial take. It sure as hell shouldn't be, but lately it seems like it is. Pedophilia is bad. Sex trafficking is bad. If a huge sect of people who govern us are pedophiles, then I would very much like to know that information. And not being invested in this is not something to wear as a point of pride. It's especially not a point to be critical from. Not caring isn't fucking cool. You are not aura farming by dismissing child rape. That's another part of our culture that I'm sick and tired of. We have been made so apathetic and powerless that acting like it's good to not care is the only answer for so many people, because caring is just simply too emotionally exhausting. Or in the case of the rich motherfuckers like Stephen A. Smith, it's just not as interesting to them, I guess. You gotta make shit not too serious because the scale of depravity is just overwhelming. So you either laugh at it or dismiss it when it's brought up. The amount of motherfuckers who comment stick to basketball when I talk about shit like this boggles my mind. Because you should not be turning blinders on to things like this. It should not be a point of pride to turn on blinders like this. It should not be socially acceptable to turn on blinders like this. You are not owed an escape. You whiny ass man babies who comment that type of shit can fuck right off. Not on my channel. You don't get to disengage on my watch. Go watch someone else. If you feel that way, you will not be missed. Epstein is connected to some of the most powerful people in the world. People still in power right now, not just in America, all over Earth. Israel's prime minister was great friends with Epstein, as was British royal Prince Andrew. Do I believe that Donald Trump is covering this up for his own part in this? Absolutely. I already believed it, but he did a great job of making me feel confident in that with how blatantly guilty he has been acting. The House just did a vote on forcing these documents to be released, and nope, not happening. In fact, I think the vote was even just to discuss it, but no, we can't even do that. Now, overwhelmingly, the people who voted no were the Republicans, but that does not mean that I think the Democrats actually care that much in getting it released either. They're just using it for political points, not for anything actually useful, because political points are the only points these motherfuckers ever score. Either way, what I think is important here is we cannot let up the pressure. We cannot let this just be another big story in the news that you forget about when you feed into your news slop. Do not get distracted by Donald Trump threatening to revoke the citizenship of Rosie O'Donnell. Good one there, by the way. It reminded me of when Cartman took a shit on Mr. Garrison's desk to avoid fighting Wendy. Masterful gambit, sir. Very old-style Trump to randomly bring up Rosie O'Donnell. That's one of his first plays in the playbook. The people who participated in these crimes are first and foremost vile scum that should be buried underneath the prison. But those who help prop up this cover-up, even if they did not participate in the cover-up themselves, they are also scum. Pam Bondi and Kash Patel are sick fucks who should be deeply, deeply, deeply ashamed of themselves. But people like Stephen A. Smith are also scum. Imagine being a victim of Epstein or the family member of a victim of Epstein and seeing this shit from Stephen A. and seeing this type of mentality far beyond Stephen A. Imagine watching a 57-year-old grown-ass man who has a net worth in the high tens of millions laughing and acting perplexed that anyone cares that you or your child was raped. This isn't a laughing matter. This isn't just another headline. This is one of the most vile things that has happened in our history, and it's being dismissed as no big deal. It's absolutely fucking despicable. Fuck Stephen A. Smith. He's always been an idiot, but I didn't ever think he'd volunteer himself up to be such a useful idiot for a pedophile ring run by the elite. This is a new low for a man determined to find newer and newer lows. This is truly his magnum opus of being a complete fucking jackass. This isn't a partisan thing. This is a human thing. Clearly, Stephen is lacking in that humanity. He doesn't exist in that world. He lives in a complete fucking bubble. And for that, I'm never gonna forgive this bitch. Apparently, he did a defense podcast. I'm probably going to react to that over on my third channel, Little Rusty Buckets, but I don't care what he had to say, truly. At the end of the day, he showed who he was. He showed who he was. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Rudy for editing, and goodbye.